Well, good morning. It's Monday morning. And today we're just going to read two verses, Ephesians 5, 1 and 2. Therefore, be imitators of God as beloved children, and walk in love as Christ loved us and gave himself up for us, a fragrant offering and sacrifice to God. So here Paul tells us to walk in love and to be imitators of God. Well, God is invisible, so how do we imitate God? Well, the only way we can imitate God is to act like God's physical manifestation on earth, that is Jesus Christ. So imitate Jesus and walk in love. And that's it. That's the Christian life. It's very simple. Anyone can do that, right? Well, anyone can, but it's very hard to specify what that means. And he'll go on with a great deal of specifications in the rest of this chapter. But we'll get to that later. What I want to do today is look at, what does it mean to be beloved children of God? What does it mean to imitate God? What does it mean to imitate Christ? He says, walk in love as Christ loved us. Now, how did Christ love us? Sacrificially, ultimately, by dying for us, gave himself up for us, Paul says, as a fragrant offering and sacrifice to God. Now, the notion that an offering is fragrant, it smells good. If you throw an animal onto a fire, meat begins to cook and the fat begins to cook, and it does smell good. It's appetizing. We all like it. So there's that. That might be part of what he means. And frequently in the scripture, the notion of prayer is translated into a scent. It smells good. Your prayers rise before God and smell good. Now, that's a loose translation of some of the Psalms. And so to be a fragrant offering might be to act like Jesus in a way that smells good to God. It's not you're not doing it selfishly. You're not doing it for some I just got to act like Jesus, and that way I can be accepted. No, you're doing it because you want to, and it just comes out of you naturally. It comes out of you because of your faith, and not because of some calculation you've made that this is the way to get into heaven. So, walking with God and loving one another, that is not really different from what the Old Testament teaches us. That famous verse in Micah that we all memorized. What does God require of you but to do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with your God? So doing justice, acting justly with other people, loving kindness, and that word there is a kind of a word for a sort of an abundant mercy. And so we're looking for this kind of mercy that just overflows. And then walking with God, before God, in a humble way. Those are pretty tall orders, actually. But if we could do that, then I think we're 90% of the way there. Now, Paul's going to go on in the rest of this chapter to specify all the ways that people fail to do that, and all the things that we do, that we like to do, that we think are fun, but are actually getting in the way of doing this discipleship, getting in the way of our faith, and getting in the way of who we are and who we want to be as followers of Jesus. So we'll get into that this week, and we'll stumble through some of that stuff. For today, think about what it means to walk humbly before God as His beloved children. And how do you do that? You do that by loving each other the way that Jesus loved, unconditionally accepting and reaching out to everyone. I hope that you can do that at least today, and I hope that you have a great day. And we'll see you tomorrow morning.